so I just did it.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just
I was supposed to level up, wasn't I?
Yeah, I'll
Does it
say yeah.
matter?
I'll say that. I'll accept
Alright.
it.
all
All
right.
that seems fine to me. Okay.
How do you level up on D&D Beyond? What do you do?
Motherfucker hasn't leveled up in 2 weeks.
I forgot.
It's like, why are we playing? You know?
We could just not then. You want to play next week?
I'm black
No,
screening.
you press
so
the little.
I'm down.
Fuck this, dude.
He instantly
God
left.
damn it.
Guys, I started the stream already. Our fans
Devin,
are waiting.
how did you feel last night? Did you feel good, or did it go south for you?
Dude, I was fine. But today, middle of the day, I got crazy dizzy. I had to leave my clients. Yeah,
Oh shit.
it was bad.
Do you guys have Taco Bell?
Yeah, we did it again.
The whole menu.
Matthew was asking. He was like, "Bro, I felt terrible." He's like, "I've never been so sick."
What happened to you, Nevin?
I got really dizzy today. I think I'm going through menopause.
I heard that after
Damn.
first baby.
No, what happened is we had the most epic fucking fight night of your life last night.
Sick
We did
invite.
Wi-Fi night.
Cool.
Everyone was puking blood and throwing up at the end of it. It was crazy.
I missed out on that? Damn.
I invited you. RichrodYT at Hotmail, right?
No, Gmail. You keep emailing this random person.
I keep doing this. Sorry.
You email him invites?
Yes, because he gave me his email.
Call him old fashioned.
He won't
You
give me
don't use your email?
He won't give me his phone number.
Dear Rich Rod YT.
It's very formal.
I hope
yeah.
this email finds you well.
Hope you can make it tonight. Gotta be crazy.
Jason's
be
for
Jason's
blood.
brother's gonna be watching the stream tonight, so we really got to play up our characters.
Ah, dang it.
Oh,
Man.
That's too much
Nah.
work.
Yeah, sorry.
Nah.
I want Guidus to have an accent this session.
Not gonna happen, buddy.
Actually,
Commit
I'm
to it,
kinda into
commit
that.
to it.
Just commit, actually.
All right, everybody put on your costumes.
All right.
I can't do that.
We're cosplaying.
I've been getting ready for that.
Sorry, I'm doing one last thing.
It's okay, take your time.
Nevin, you looking good, bro. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna feel bad about saying it.
I appreciate it because I feel like shit. So I appreciate you for that.
Are you recovering from yesterday?
You know, life's been slapping me around.
Yeah. You been able to sleep?
You know, a couple hours.
Damn. That worries
Okay,
me.
where'd you get hit?
What's up?
Where'd you get hit at?
Oh, you know, upside the head, sweep the legs, all the fun ones.
Blood ones.
That sounds pretty fun.
Colin, are we starting or?
We can't.
You guys watched the Justin Gaethje and Holloway fight?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was kind of dirty how he got poked in the eye twice.
Yeah.
And had his
Both
nose
eyes.
broken.
But the end of that just made up. I think you're right, though.
He was the one who got knocked out cold, right? Like just a limp body.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With
Oh,
2
yeah.
seconds left.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I feel like it was. I almost felt like Holloway was doing it like intentionally. Like he was purposely like putting his hands out and just trying to reach for the eyeballs.
It was
It did
kind of
look like
sus
it.
a little
It
bit.
seemed kind of dirty, but
UFC needs to change their gloves, and I've always said that.
I think they just did.
There's gloves that you can make that like make it harder for you to do that.
Oh.
But the gloves that they use, like your fingers are free.
yeah, they need to put on the like mitts,
Boxing gloves.
boxing gloves.
But they have to grapple and wrestle on the ground. So I don't know if you could just take your fingers away.
You don't
like
need
that.
fingers for
Well, you
that.
can still have fingers. It's just the pads go up farther, so it's hard to stick your finger out. Fucking, whoop. You know what I mean? It's harder.
Boop.
Nevin, don't
Or you
try
should
me.
do,
bro.
like, You
I
should
get
do
my
penalty
sources, Joe Rogan. Ever heard of him?
Like if they do something like that and poke somebody in the eye, they should get like penalty hits. So they have to stand there and the guy just gets to one free hit.
That'll probably stop it.
Penalty hits.
Pretty quick.
Instantly knocks them out.
He's like, fuck.
They can't even.
Two-
They're so good at dodging that they're like, you have to stay still, and he's like,
Blindfold him. Put the bag over his head. penalty shin kicks.
Oh no!
Snap.
you're like,
One
hey,
free hit to the kidney.
no more water for you when you go to your corner.
You can only use your left hand for the rest of the fight.
When they had the two women that were fighting and like they're the Chinese girls, like were their coaches like their actual coaches? Because like they were talking to them and then they had like people behind them like talking to them in Chinese. And I was like, are like people in the ring like their actual coaches?
Oh, shit.
Or like I was
don't
like,
know.
what's going on? I was like, do they understand anything that they're saying? Because they're like trying to give them advice. They're like, stop kicking high, kick low, or like shit like that. I was like, do they actually know what they're saying or what's going on? That fight was crazy.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm good to go now. So sorry. Everybody ready? Everybody.
I'm so ready.
First thing I need everybody to do, and this is non-negotiable. Sorry, everybody. I need you to take a D20. Take the biggest one you have. Throw it away.
Eat it.
Throw it in the trash can. Get rid of it. Oh, Richard, you can get rid of that one. Boom.
Just hit your door.
Okie dokie. So, if we're all ready to begin, why don't we jump into this week's Tale of Foundation? Where the last time our heroes and adventurers in the world of Foundation, previous 5 champions chosen by the gods to assist in a war against primordial titans, beings of earth, fire, water, storm, and wind. Our heroes have, in very short amount of time, had multitudes of engagements, mysteries, questions, allies, and enemies, both. By defending the central city of Protunheim, they have staked their claim on this world as mortals willing to sacrifice and fight to maintain themselves. And the most recent aggressor, this amorphous enigma of an enemy who proclaimed himself as Zenith, warned our heroes of an encroaching army to the west. A demonic horde unbefitting of these elemental aggressors, but nevertheless a threat for our world. They journeyed atop their draconic mounts to the military outpost of Fort Capstone, uncovered an underground nexus point with overflowing magical reserves, and a mysterious figure who called himself Savias Detremor, who had allied himself with the demons to overtake Fort Capstone. Our hero's mission was to hold the front line so that the Primus, a champion chosen by the entire 20 Pantheon-wide set of gods, who commanded our heroes here, said that he would defend Protunheim if he could give him a week. So our heroes did their best to do that. Fighting against a wave of monstrous creatures and undead hordes, they eventually found themselves in a political discussion of sorts with this Savias figure, who warned them that their allied nature with these demons and these 2 figures now by name, known as Zenith and Wrath, was a temporary agreement made not by him, but by the god of death, Theroth. He warned our heroes that he was just there to claim the lives and the bodies and raise them up into an undead army for his god. He said that he was not very positive or sure that he would win in a fight against our heroes. And Redulus, our captain, proved him correct, slaying him on the battlefield outside the walls while hundreds of undead shambling corpses assaulted the walls, hidden within the larger ogre undead. Wriggling tentacle masked, our heroes had fought once before and had known that the more damage those creatures took, the larger they would engorge themselves and eventually release into a large explosive finale. Our heroes taking out Savias left the undead frantic and chaotic, with those wriggling masses of fiendish bombs lying on the field. Our heroes saw the figure of Wrath, a elemental figure cloaked in flames, whose body seemed to be melded from bristling ash, who was cocky and began assaulting our hero Venric and Tormund with large spears formed of cemented ash. And saw two other things. Two of their captured friends and partners. The two dragons, Baragra, a young blue dragon, adolescent in nature, as well as Akantep, the first frost, a white adolescent dragon. And while most of our heroes made the decision to retreat as the explosion was imminent, two of our heroes had two different decisions. Redulus, seeing his mount atop an ashen pillar, decided to run into the oncoming waves, transforming himself invisibly and darting to free his mount. And successfully doing so, but not before he would be captured by Wrath with an impaled spear through his back. And our hero would endure days of mutilating torture. Our other hero, Goran, the First Hand, a high cleric from the divinative city of Vasselheim, in one final bout after being weakened from a previous endeavor, decided to give up his life to try and prevent the explosion from taking the lives of any more, was unsuccessful, as the gods at that moment seemed to not be with our heroes but far off, and in doing so lost their life. But not before granting one final blessing of divinity, preserving the lives of the soldiers who would be caught in this hundreds, almost mile-wide explosion, rescuing both the soul of Tormund, preserving his life, and the rest of the Farumic Guard at the walls of Fort Capstone. Our heroes in the aftermath eventually found Redulus waddling into the gates, hurt, disfigured, with jutting bits of crystal out of his body. And two new characters joined into our story. Azodella and Halton, of family von Heidendrix from the kingdom of Vasselheim. Paladin mercenaries there on the request of the Primus, who insinuated that they were related by blood and that this was a favor. 12 strong paladins helped garrison our city of Fort Capstone, and also alerted our heroes that the demonic army, near 500,000 in number, had retreated or begun, and their numbers were dwindling by the day. Venric, the lieutenant general of the entire army opposing these titans, with the aftermath of the battles and all of the events that had transpired since the beginning of our story, decided to head back to Protunheim immediately, give information to Primus, see the city, and eventually wander back to the secret set of tunnels underneath Protenheim to be with his family who he had sent there days before. As he wandered through the dark tunnel, for the time being, out of our story, the rest of our heroes, as they awry in this aftermath, realized it almost felt like the war was on pause. Days would go by, weeks, and eventually, with no signal or sign of Zenith, Wrath, or the encroaching demonic horde that they know existed, would eventually, our heroes would find themselves back in Protenheim to take care of whatever business they would intend to. Redulus, after the aftermath of all of this, would be in a comatose state for months. The injuries and damage to his psyche and body weighing heavily on himself, which would leave, for now, our three characters: Tormund the Liberator, champion of Bane; Gaidas, champion of the Dawn Father Pelor; and Akuji Aita, head visor and archmage of the School of Etheretics, as a champion of Asmodeus. Within the aftermath, several events would transpire. But I would like to know, first and foremost, Gaidas, Akuji, and Tormund, we're going to go through. This is now a week after the departure of Venric, the loss of Goran, Redulus returning and in a comatose state. A week after the fight, with the Hallowed Harriers patrolling and alongside you all. We're going to go through within these months. There'll be a little bit of role play, a little bit of discussion, maybe some roles. I'll lay out the scenario for you, and then we'll go through each by one of you, and you can tell me what you would like to have accomplished or do, specific conversations, places you would like to go during this time. But first, a week after the solstice, the day that the planetary systems in the sky would configure themselves in a way where magic would strangely be effluent and waft and wane through the air. A day that almost seemed like it was supposed to have a massive impact and was left with a foggy, disappointing conclusion. We pick up a week after this with our three heroes alongside Asadella and Halton sitting within the main tent in Fort Capstone. The discussion for the last few days have been the same. Scouting reports with no enemy signs for miles out. Hallowed Harriers going out as far as they could and coming in pairs to check in and out, kind of passing on the baton of information. We pick up in that conversation in the tent. Asadella kind of stands up, her armor glistening, her blonde hair tied up tight once again, and she looks at you all. Well, that seems to be all the information I have for the time being. So, champions, if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of us. Alton, come on, let's prepare the birds. We'll take off for one final scouting trip. If you need anything, you know how to get a hold of us. She pats her armor. Halton gives a mean glare to all three of you, this kind of shit-eating snare, and just kind of walks out. The three of you sit in this tent. The three strongest leaders in Capstone at the time being. The three champions left. With one missing, one returned home, and one unsure of his health and where he will be able to recover soon. What would you like to do?
So it's just me and Akuji right now.
And Tormund.
Oh, Torment is here. Okay.
How long have we been in Fort Capstone now, total? Has it been?
This will almost be 2 weeks. It's like 10 days.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, still in Capstone. Oh, okay.
Well, Okuji, Goddess, seeing as it's looking like the threat is gone for now, I ask both of you what keeps us here now.
I think whatever we can find out about that cave is still important while we're here, because we're not going to be able to come back very anymore. So other than that, probably leave.
I think now that it isn't such a... we don't have an army at the wall pressuring us, we might be able to send others from Protonon to investigate here. I know I probably wouldn't be much help in figuring out what's going on down there, so maybe Akuji, you could bring some of your disciples or down to
Yes,
the
I
cave.
can. I can send a team once we get back to Pronheim.
I think we should go back and at the very least talk to the Primus, see what Benric has told him. And I need to get back to my people.
Okay. Preparations are made.
Before we left, I do remember last time I wanted to see if I could go snoop around the Hendrixes or whatever, like wherever they're staying. I just kind of wanted to see if I could go through any of their things.
Okay.
If that was possible or not. But
Roll me an investigation check, and this will be also a part of your stealth check.
$24.
Okay. They are staying at an abandoned mansion that has stables where they keep their various eagles, owls, and raven giant-sized. Giant-sized ones. Most nights there are at least 2 or 3 of them there. Easily enough, you slip past them though and investigate most of their quarters. You see that these individuals do not carry like a lot of coinage, very minimal. They do carry like a significant amount of rations. Their weapons are mixed and matched. There are axes, long swords, short swords, mauls, and maces. They're not like a unified army type, and it kind of leads you into this, that they are this kind of scattered band of paladins that have been joined for something. They record and write, and what they do write, it is simple prayers in a way of like, some of them have devout ties to certain deities. There's one that has like a tie to Bane. There's another one with like a tie to Zahir. A couple of them do not worship at all, or you find no religious iconography. With that investigation, that also ties into just observing them too, not just sneaking through their things. You kind of deduce that Halton and Asadella are kind of like the leading forces. Like Asadella is like the leader, but only because if Halton was, it feels like there would be like no control. They're related for sure. And you get this feeling that they are like a lot closer related than just like mere brothers and sisters, almost like to like they're twins in a way. Like the way they talk and move and their facial structure, they're very close in age. You also find specifically in Azadella's things that she has a very keen eye for medicine, or at least knows a lot of like potential remedies to a lot of ailments, like a lot, and almost like this weird not psychotic, but focused vision on learning about it. Halton, you can tell, you can't really actually find, like, you don't even know what his motivation is, like if it's money or coin or glory or blood. He's just kind of an asshole, and you can't really deduce much else than. Anything else?
Not for me.
Okay. Then, at the command of the champions, preparations are made for a on-foot return to Protenheim, which will take a handful of days.
I probably would just teleport us.
The preparations begin, and Kuji's like, yo.
We're walking like, what the fuck, Kuji? Why are we walking?
Okay. Oh, I forgot, guys.
My bad.
Before you leave, as they learn about your like planning to leave, Azadella and Halton do come up to you and say, well, it seems as if for the time being, everything here is settled. If it's not too much of an ask, we would like to go and see Abaddon, if you'll have us with you. The rest of the Harriers will stay here, and then they'll rendezvous back with us in Protenheim, and then we'll return back to Vasselheim.
No difference to me.
Okay. A little voice is heard, and it says,
Well, I don't know if we'll have enough room. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Are we taking the dead one too?
as Ezra, a new arrival to Fort Capstone, brought by Akuji, has been a thorn in everybody's side for the most part, pretty much following Akuji everywhere, and has been insinuating for a while now that he will be a pretty pretty permanent fixture to Akuji's side for the time being. As you're all standing in the middle of the square, he says,
If Akuji can handle it, that is.
small gnomish individual whose eyebrows kind of come over his eyes where nobody's really seen his pupils. Big bushy beard that comes down to a fine point, who wears literally just like wizard robes with stars, and he has like a pointed hat. And you can tell he has a very receding male pattern baldness, with liver spots on top, big bulbous nose. Looks up at you, Akuji.
Do you think you can handle it? Otherwise, I can do it.
And starts wisping out these incantations.
I can handle it, but if you must, you can.
All right, I'll take care of it. Simple enough for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
With you and the
Hair.
two of them.
And Taro, or I think, like his
Oh,
Ezra's.
oh, yeah.
weapon.
I think teleport is what, 8 people you can take?
I think we have 8, right?
Yeah, I think.
It would be you 4 plus Ezra plus Taro plus
It's you
Halton
and 8. Oh,
and
up to 8.
Asadella. So that's 8. You would have to leave one person behind or leave
You and up to
Redolus.
8 willing creatures. So is that
okay,
9?
so 9. Yeah.
Well, that's
I don't know if you can teleport, if you'd even be able to teleport Redolus.
Is he willing?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
Count
unconscious.
as willing?
Damn, really?
Middle of the ocean.
I
Back
could
home.
do some weird shit, probably. No, I can't, actually.
Put him in a bag of holding. We teleport and we'll pull him out.
Perfect.
There's not air in there.
It'll be quick. We gotta do it quick.
Dude, I don't know if I can.
I believe because he's been unconscious for this period of time, he wouldn't even. Yeah, I don't believe it would work.
Okay. So
Also, you risk doing it if you miss the place or mess up. If he
Isn't it-
takes damage.
isn't it a guarantee though?
No,
For
you said that last
Protonheim?
time. It's not a guarantee. Because of where you're at in Capstone.
Well, so wait, can we not take him? Like even if I want to, we cannot.
I think you could take him. You could take him, but you risk that if the spell messes up, you will kill him.
Yeah, I don't think I would risk that. I would just ask one of the Harriers I will ask the Harriers to travel by fly and bring him.
Can't you just wake him up? Just cast like an awake spell or something?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know how magic works.
Oh, yeah. Wake up. Third level.
I didn't think about that.
Third level. It's ineffective.
He's
Well,
resistant.
excellent. Looks like we have exactly the amount of people. All right, everyone, gather round, gather round.
Ezra begins taking it and
Take note, Tsukuji.
pulls up his sleeves, casts the spell.
Well, maybe I should have casted the spell, actually.
He got 100 last time, remember?
That's
There's a
true.
little bit of a fuck up.
Uh-oh.
Everybody gets boom, hit and takes damage. You all come out of the teleport in the middle of Proton Time on the raised bridge in the middle of town known as the Gilded Walk. Large, like kind of spanning shopping line of a road. You all, a couple of you, feel your lunch come out from the disruption. Ezra kind of,
Ooh, that was a doozy. Well, I told you we'd be here.
you all arrive after 10 days being within Capstone in Protonheim.
So this is Proton.
You all go towards the tower to the top where the war room is at. A conversation with the Primus discussing the events in full from all of your discoveries. As Adela and Halton are there for the whole conversation unless you would like to omit anything. As well as Ezra. And Taro. Got a whole litany of NPCs now.
We would have talked about this before, right? At Capstone? Didn't we talk about this last session? Anything to not mention in front of them? I thought we did.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I said that I didn't want to talk to anything about the cave to
Oh, okay.
them, but I don't know about anything else.
Okay, that's fine. If you wish to tell the Primus those things you kept from them, you can do that in a private time. But this first conversation goes over the undead figure, Savius Detramore. The Primus recognizes that last name as being the same surname of Cecilia within the Theretics that you're a part of, Akuji. There's a questioning glance, and as you kind of go over, like you did not know them, he kind of says,
Well, we'll have to keep our eye out then. I don't believe she would do something devious like this, but the fact that Theroth, the gods feel in their own way they have ways to win this war, and not all of them are aligned. So I don't deny that this was by Theroth's command, but something still stinks about this whole endeavor.
as you describe the battle, the loss of Gorin, the disappearance of Redalus, and where he relies now, he just nods his head. There's not really a sign of like acknowledgement, but there is a small like exhale of like sadness when he mentions Gorin, and a resonant of,
Yes, Enric informed me on the loss of the First Hand. The world is lesser without him.
Your stories begin to come to a conclusion to your current state. He informs you of all the defenses that he's been implemented into the parapets, the gates, the reinforcing guards. He said,
We've even got an agreement with certain members of the Severed for patrols out within the forested lands. They're more well adept at skulking within the shadows than we are in our clunking armor. We've had a good rapport with them for the most part, Liberators, so you should commend your men and women. They've done a great service to the city. And as far as the enemy is concerned, we've had no sign of any arriving forces, neither by sea or land nor air. And the areas where the demonic portal from the first incursion from the Titan and the Demon Prince, if you recall, they're all barren, white, nothing left. It seems as if we are at a ceasefire, but we'll still be at full alert for anything to come. And I have one more matter to discuss with you all. Adela Holton, if you wouldn't mind. And Ezra, hi mage, and he looks down and Ezra goes,
Nope, I'm staying right here. I believe the superiors in Vasselheim would love to know what's transpiring in this hodunk town of yours.
the Primus just kind of,
Yeah, all right.
and he looks at you, Akuji, and he's like,
Do you want to talk about this?
nah, all right.
Final matter to discuss. Well, two things.
One, Vinric formally submitted his letter of resignation. He's given up his ranking. He's no longer a member of the Firma Guard. He's been honorably discharged. And for the last few days, I do not know of his location.
Have you checked his home?
Baron has been for some time now. No sign of Oriah, Iara, any of the kids. Nobody's seen them for some time now. I'm slightly worried. I've sent out several inquisitors from the church to seek possible information, but I have a feeling that he had already laid out plans before any of this even began. Now, this is not me as the Primus saying this, but as a friend to Venric. He's been through more than most in the time now, and after these intense times, sometimes it's best to leave others to decompress. So, that brings us to the second matter. With the death of the first hand, champion seat is open. Their replacement has already been chosen, elected by the 7th choice by the gods. They will be here within some time. They are finishing matters up in Vasselheim currently. And he looks at you, Tormund. There's another meeting that you will have to attend with me on the morrow.
Okay.
Champions, get some rest. You've done more than the world could have asked for. But I have a feeling now that we are only at the beginning of what is to come. The meeting adjours. The sun begins to slant down. You all go to your homes, whatever places you have vacant of some members, full of life in others. A rousing bonfire at the Children of Severance held out near the military barracks on the offside of the docks. And you are welcomed, Tormund, by rowdy shouts, claps on the back. A couple like big burly women come and like wrestle you, and like you gotta fight them off a little bit. Kind of a hazing ceremony.
I would, before we kind of go our separate ways after the meeting, I would mention to Akuji and Gaius, would say, now that the fighting is over at Capstone, and we seem to be entering, however short this may be, a time of peace, it's customary with the severed to celebrate. So, I'd like to invite you both to come to our camp, to celebrate, to drink, to feast on the victory we had at Capstone.
I'll swing by. I'm sure it'll be pretty obvious when it's going on, huh?
I imagine if they heard of my return, it's already began. Akuji?
I must admit, it is hard to celebrate knowing Goran is gone, but I'll be there.
And me too.
Give like a side eye to Ezra. I understand your reserves, Akuji, but celebrations like these, don't forget about the people we've lost. They acknowledge and celebrate their sacrifice and remind us to keep them with us forever.
Hard flash cut to mugs of ale being just shirts off, like topless women and men like shaking like there's stuff in the air. Ezra's kneeled over on a table talking to this huge burly orc woman. I'm like,
Back in my time, we would go and you wouldn't believe the women I would see.
and over like with the Kuji and Tormund probably like in a circle, with raucous fires going off, like just the heat of celebration and the fires with the oranges and reds dancing off each other's faces. And I imagine probably Gaius off near a tent as well, just kind of watching the event transpire.
Yeah.
I'll say there's probably a huge bonfire going on, and Tormund would be standing on some pedestal or something, cheering to the severed, and everyone's celebrating around, and be like, cheers! And then he's going to say a common severed cheers tradition. Here's to cheating, fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you cheat, may you cheat death. If you steal, may you steal a woman's heart. And if you fight, my fellow champions, the severed, and my friend Goran, may you fight with me.
Ezra fucking yeah. He's naked now. He's walking around with just like gnomish tidy whities on.
Goodness.
There is just the clinging of mugs of blades together, fire glistening in the pupils of individuals with red cheeks, and that severely depressing atmosphere that was. There is still a spark that life and happiness and glee can carry on in these dark times. Gaius, as you're standing on the outskirts watching this all go down, whether you're imbibing in the drinks and merriment or not, you do notice a figure also standing kind of on the outskirts, a lot shorter, different kind of clothing. He has a large, like deep auburn beard, a dwarven individual who's wearing this kind of like chainmail vest, deep green shirt, who's just kind of looking out, watching the whole party go. You see him like kind of look around a tent, nod his head, and then depart from the party. just kind of disappears into the city.
Like, he seemed out of place.
He did seem out of place, yeah.
I will start to follow him if I think something is off about him.
Roll me a stealth check.
Better than a 4. Come on. It's not.
73.
It's not.
I'm over here shoving ale down to Kuji's throat.
There's a beer funnel. It's like a big long horn, and the tip's cut off. And all right, there's a keg stand. 10.
If you stop, the others will kill you. Keep going.
They'll kill you. Wait, I rolled a D12. It wasn't even a D20.
Come on, dude.
24. Haven't rolled above 10 yet.
The figure you follow deep through the streets for a while. He eventually stops off at a church on the Gilded Walk. There's like a large set of dog-leg stairs that lead up. Large chapel. He darts in there inside for a few minutes, comes out, walks down the long walkway that you once walked through when you were announced as champion. The city streets are bustling. There's guards and stuff. It's not like he's doing anything, noticeably strange outside of what he did at the gathering or why he was even there.
Yeah, does he just kind of seem like he's just kind of going about his night at this point?
Yeah, it seems like now he's like on an errand run. He's like, I gotta stop here, and then I'll stop here. There's a couple stops, but it's not like he's being sneaky at all.
That first place that he stopped, is it just like a normal business, or
There's
home,
at the very end of the Gilded Walk, literally like the opposite of where the tower that the champions reside at, there is an enormous church that is built that houses enough space for 4 to 5. It's like a mega church, but there's 4 to 5 divisions for different gods that have high holdings here in Protenheim. And there are hundreds of people coming in and out all the time. There are statues erected around it as well, each depicting the different forms of the gods.
I guess then whatever he's wearing, like, represent someone he worships, or when he went to church, did he go to somewhere specific? Like,
Investigation. Actually, this would be a religion check.
It was a good time to roll a 19. 22.
The garb he wears is just like a tunic with some armor, very standard attire during this time. Nothing that stands out about that. You do notice that the entrance he went into at the Grand Temple was to the goddess Corlan, the gifter of arcane magic to mortals. One of the 5 gods that reside as like a high deity here within Protenheim. There are multiple smaller little churches everywhere. There's a cathedral of whatever, St. Guadalupe over there, and there's a Baptist church. There's 2 or 3 over, stuff like that. But these are like grand temples to 5 gods.
Yeah. I think all I would do is just follow him for a little while longer, just to be sure. But if nothing catches my eye, I'll leave it at that for now.
Eventually, you find he arrives in the military part of the city where most of the soldiers live. The barracks are at, the training camps. It's near the docks. And you see he arrives in there and slips into one of the barracks. And you assume maybe he was like a soldier off duty for the night.
Are their barrack buildings big? Like, are there like a lot of them that house some, like, a small group? You know what I mean?
They're all pretty standard, about the same size, and they can harbor, around like 40 to 50. It's like group living situations, so And they're pretty obvious which are the barracks because it's like the identical building laid out next to each other, sparsed out with some homes for like the higher ranking officers and stuff. But he definitely goes into like a normal barracks.
I guess I'll get close enough to the barracks that I can just kind of look again, just watch him just a little bit longer, see if he's really staying here, end of the night or whatever.
Okay. He departs in, and the angle that you can get would be from a window to the side. You see him like sit on a cot. There's no other where to go in other than you would just be in the middle of their sleeping quarters.
Right.
So you get like an angle where you can see the back of his head, and you're there for like 20 or so minutes, 30 minutes. Then you see him just like writing stuff down in a book, a note, folding it up, stowing it away, and then takes like a pillow. There's like a bit of like rowdiness in the barracks where he like gets up, somebody like tackles him, and he kind of, there's a little bit of roughhousing going on. Eventually he puffs the pillow and lays down on his side.
Okay. Is there somebody else in this place that I can see in this room that fits my stature size-wise? It looks close to me.
Plenty. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of hang out here if I'm hidden, and I'm gonna watch. For an extended period of time.
Okay. Roll me a perception check. You're looking, and as the night goes on, you hear a loud crash come from your right, and you're kind of skulking in the shadows, and you look over, and you see a group of soldiers that were moving like weaponry or iron ore or something. The cart kind of gets caught in a rut, and stuff popples out, and you hear, "You fucking idiot! I told you the rut was there! Fuck off! You were supposed to be driving anyway, you bastard!" You look for just a split second, and as that's going on, you like calm yourself and you look back, and you see the figure on the cot appears to still be there. And then you like wait for like a few more minutes, and you notice there's a weird lumpiness in the cot. The lanterns are now turned down, so it's like night now. Everybody's supposed to be sleeping, lights out. And you notice the figure on the cot doesn't look the same kind of form that they were. Like there's a weird lumpiness to them, and there's no movement of breath or shifting in the sleep. And from outside, you kind of deduce in that moment that they might have either gone unconscious or snuck out when the lights went out.
Okay. I'll leave it for now, and then I'll probably add that to the list.
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh, for a stealth.
Yeah.
I rolled a 2.
That's crazy. The rest of the night goes on. Merriment of all kinds. The next day comes. Tormund, go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw. This will be for your hangover.
Is it at disadvantage? No, right? Or is it?
Why would it be a disadvantage?
I don't know, because I was drunk. I don't know. I'm stupid.
No, this is for that. This will
Okay.
determine that. So just a straight roll.
15.
Yeah.
I got a
Okay,
high
you feeling
con.
pretty good. You're feeling pretty good. Your throat's a little sore from screaming all night, and your eyes are a little crusty. You need some water, but you're feeling good. until you wake up and realize I gotta go meet Primus.
Oh fuck! I gotta go talk to the gods.
I'm gonna go out of my tent and look outside. What does it look like?
Oh, there are people face down in the mud.
Yeah.
People like leaned up against wagons and stuff. You see a dude who's like talking to like one of the mules and oxes, and he's like, "Where were you last night? I called you. I tried to find your tent." He's still like got a bottle in his hand. There's like a big, like somebody took a wagon and turned it on its side, and there's dozens of arrows and knives. Like there was a knife throwing and arrow shooting competition, but you can't even tell where the target was. There's just like hundreds of them pegged into it.
Are your crew six like? I'm gonna find them before I go. If they're there.
They're in a smaller tent off to the side of your main tent. You find Yora's outside, sober. She doesn't drink, and she she thinks it's poison for your body. And she was adamant last night that like, Chief, you really shouldn't be drinking all this shit. It's really bad for you. It really messes with muscle growth as well. What's why did I forget his name?
Crucix.
Crucix is inside the tent. He's got a crazy hunger. Oh, my fucking name. Oh, hey, Chief. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I need.
I'm
last
not
night.
good. You see spouts of vomit on the ground. He's like, I was not good.
Understandable. Yora, at some point, when you find other survivors of the party, we should get this place cleaned up. It's pretty bad outside.
All right, Dion, you! And she stands up, points to the dude that was talking to the ox. He's like, yeah, what's up?
Tell them to pick up the fingers. There's fingers all over the place. I don't know whose they are, but they're just
You're
fingers.
You're on finger duty. Chief's orders. And he's like, fuck. I hate finger duty.
I'll be back. I have to meet with the Primus.
Got it, Chief. I'll make sure nothing bad happens here.
Then I'll head out.
You head to the tower. Akuji and Gaidus, are you both there or whatever you like to do?
At the tower.
Yeah.
If I knew Akuji was going to be there, I would go. But if not,
Yeah, you could have had a conversation at the night about it.
This is like the meeting, like Tormund's on the chopping block, kinda.
Yeah.
The Primus didn't really say, right? He just said that me and him need
No.
to meet with.
we don't.
Players,
know that yet.
you
That's
know
right,
what's
we
going to
don't know.
happen. Characters do not know, but you can assume in a way.
It's not good.
Okay. Yeah, if I assumed that, I would definitely go.
Sorry.
He like wakes up under some like rubble and shit. He's just sleeping
A
out.
bunch of beer cans. He was just sleeping in a pile of beer cans. Ah, the trial.
Akuji parties hard. I can see it.
Akuji's tieflings have a crazy fucking tolerance.
Tormund,
Non-existent,
you
really.
prowl through the early morning streets, and every step that you take, it
a
gets
good
a little
move.
slower, a little heavier, and you start to wonder if this is what Venric felt like. As you arrive at the tower, the Primus is already fit in his full armor, this weapon at his side. His dragon Ferris stands out on the plinth, that kind of steel shimmering scale along his side that glistens in the morning sun. Kuji and Gaidus are already present there, just kind of going over paperwork, which there are piles of, as you guys have not been here for a week. And you now know, as Kuji's going through paperwork, you remember that first day of Goran and Redalus cycling through the paperwork and doing all the quote-unquote bitch work. And there's like a moment of remembrance. And the Primus sees you enter and says,
There's bagels. Sorry. There are bagels, but that is not.
That's your
We should
favorite
be
part
going.
of the day, isn't it?
I was just thinking about it, and I was like, I'm nervous a little bit nervous. The gods are ready. If you're ready to go, champion.
Can they come? Or
They cannot.
okay. I'll see you guys when I get back, and I'll dap them both up, like our handshakes that we made when Fort Capstone and all that.
The raw tattoo you guys got last night. The matching tattoos.
It's like right here. It's like of a shitty like drawn pig. Like
I gave those to you, and I did not get one.
in the moment they were, guys, this looks sick, dude.
the pork squad, the pig boys.
Really, I just drew dicks.
Wait a minute.
He mounts up onto Ferris, holds out his hand.
We'll be back, champions.
Tormund gets onto the back. The dragon takes off. You fly in a twisting motion up to the mountain in which Protenheim is tucked underneath that kind of crests over. And the higher you go up, the air becomes colder and colder, and the wind becomes rushing, and you can't even hear anything, and you get hit in the head by the Primus's flowing golden locks, spitting it out of your mouth. You go so high that Protenheim almost vanishes beneath the clouds, and then it stops becoming colder, and a wave of warmth comes over as a blinding gold light envelops your vision, and suddenly you see a citadel, like a pantheon or a Olympic style Greek pavilion atop a set of clouds that doesn't fit right. The proportions here are gigantic. Pillars that go further and further up than even a mountain should, and buildings that rise higher, fences of gold and silver, flowing falls of glistening like silvery ichor. Gates open as two enormous angelic celestial guards that stand 20 feet tall, almost pale blue skin, no pupilless eyes that are just white, bulky solars. The front soldiers for the gods stand there with enormous greatswords of glistening celestial gold. They uncross them, and the Primus and you fly into a city built for giants. As you fly in, you arrive at a large, open pavilion with seats and thrones crafted each in their own outright design. Some of glistening red rubies, solid ruby throne with flames that etch out the side. Another of oaken mahogany-wrapped roots that form what should be like a forest in its own right, but a chair there. Figures sitting within them, matching the thrones to a certain degree. An enormous figure with one single dotted eye, glistening red, a gritted smile with alligator-like teeth picking out. You recognize these to be the gods of Foundation. Full 20 pantheon, with two of the figures just balls of, or like figures that almost look like people, but they're silhouettes of light. They don't have the refined form of the rest. And in that moment, you recognize that to be the two remaining unnamed of Sarenrae and Loth. You arrive in the center, merely standing at this level. You feel like you're just peering up at a range of mountains. A voice comes forth. This meeting is done in order. The champion known as Tormund the Liberator, champion of Bane, the Arduate Hand. Our brother Asmodeus has brought up this discussion already once. A figure sitting at a throne that is almost seemed to be like this mechanical set of piping and stonework. There's these weird geometric designs in it. This figure that stands there has this kind of almost beret on in a way, but it almost pans out to be his entire robe. He looks like a studious figure. Roll a religion check.
14.
14. From the pantheon so far, you narrow it down to 3. That's either Moradin, the god of dwarves. It's either Torog, the grand architect, or that is Zahir, the god of serpents. Can't nail it down in that moment. But you're so shaking from this, as every voice and murmur is like a thunderclap. A figure stands up, a familiar one. Tanned skin, black horns to the side, angelic white wings out the back. Brothers, sisters, I bring before you yet again a set of circumstances. As the god of dealings and deals between mortals and immortals, we have before us another chance, another wager in this tumultuous agreement we decided on who knows how long ago. The champion, known as Tormund, fell within the battle at Fort Capstone. Due to circumstances outside of this council's decision, I've already elected the vote that he should be replaced, and in his position, the 7th choice, elected by Zahir. He waves his hand up, and a figure cloaked on a throne of literally just like liquid shadow with glistening little bits of daggers sticking out of it and coiling serpents around it. He leans forward and says, "Yes, my choice. I have already advocated for previously." Asmodeus takes in the room. Well, as you all know, the Exandris Finalis must be put in order, so 5 champions must exist. The 7th is already put in for to replace the first hand. Sorry, Bahamut. And we'll need the 8th to replace the champion of Maine. Now, I know from the previous discussions, our 8th champion unfortunately fell. So, we'll have to resort to a group vote right here. And I do believe our Grand Lady Tiamat has a wonderful suggestion. Sister, if you wouldn't mind, the 2 central thrones that kind of center the courtroom, a figure whose skin almost looks like scaly in nature, eyes like a snake, a vicious viper, hair that almost seems to curl like a Medusa in the wind, and a voice that makes you immediately like shrink, Tormund, as she speaks. Yes, my decision is for one already close to home. I elect to replace Tormund of the Children of Severance, the Liberator, son of Dronninheim, Father Cairo Suvet, Don Marshal of the Brilliant Star Church, and Flame Guy to Pelor. A rousing amount of conversation goes through. She waves her hand, and a figure appears out from a separate hallway in a brandishing display of flames. Brilliant white robes etched with gold linings, depictions of large stars around the side, like a sun. Dark black skin, piercings on aligning the eyebrows as well as piercings along the ears. He wears no sleeves, but vestments that come over. Bald, shaved head, and a bulky nature, like an MMA fighter type build, and etched tattoos that glisten along the scalp and go along the arms. A familiar figure you remember, Tormund, to when Gaius was announced. He led the procession of Dawn Guard through the Gilded Walk and announced before the entirety of Protenheim the champion of Pelor, Gaius. He looks out, does a deep bow, and clears his throat, and says very swiftly and abruptly, "It would be a great honor to serve you as champion." Bows. Asmodeus claps. Excellent. Well, it's already done, so let's put it all to a vote. Yeah.
Can I say
Do
something?
you do that? Do you say that?
Yeah.
There is like a record scratch. The whole room looks, and you hear like the sound of mountains being twisted on their caps. Asmodeus begins to say, you see for a split make me an insight check, Tormund.
11.
There is a brief crack in the smile of Asmodeus for a split second, and then you hear like a dagger piercing through you. Oh, you think you have a point in this? And a deep resonating smash goes through the hall. You get lifted off your feet like 2 feet, like just poof, and a figure stands up completely covered. It's straight Dark Souls like armor. Like just a knight with pointy black armor, searing red eyes, who holds a big greatsword in his hand, leans in, and he says, "You will let him speak. Say your piece, Liberator." As Bane speaks up on your behalf. Smoke. You can tell he's not too thrilled about this.
My boy got me. All I would like to say is that as a champion, I have fulfilled my duty. I have fought for the city of Protenheim and its people. I was asked by the Primus, the one chosen by all the gods, to defend Fort Capstone and fight off the armies that were coming. And now, there's no sign of these armies. Goran himself gave his life so that I could live, so I could continue fighting for Protenheim. I don't see why I should be replaced as champion when I have done nothing but what you asked.
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
+0, let's go. Inspiration? 6.
There is a discourse on one side of the room where you hear a feminine voice that speaks up very eloquently. "Brothers and sisters, I believe they speak truly. I sense no deceit in the words they say. Is it not what we created these mortals for, is to discourse with us, to pray to us, to fear for us?" Another loud voice speaks up. Short, squat figure, enormous beard that goes past his feet. "He has no say in what he's doing. You all know what we signed up for. There's more to this than just heroics." Another figure speaks up on the other side, another woman's voice, but more childish and like wonderlust filled. And she says, "You can't simply be regarding this. The championship is something that to be distributed. And if we just give it to anybody who's willing to die on the battlefield, then what's the point of it?" Bane speaks up once again and says,
Oh, I forgot. Did you bring anybody before this council? Or were you skulking around in your starry scape, hiding behind your...
Another woman speaks up whose voice is like motherly and like a warm river coursing through you, and she says, "Enough, all of you. Asmodeus, this is not a trial. This is a council." She looks at you. Her face resembles that of, like, you're looking at a woman comprised of like the most beautiful flowers and ivy and rivers and mountains that the world has to offer. And her voice is like a soothing aroma. Tormund, we are aware of your sacrifice in this endeavor. Please, though, this is a decision for the creators, not for the created. Your sacrifice, as well as those of your friends, are measured. But there is more at stake here than the simple wish of a mortal. Asmodeus, carry on. Thank you, Melora. Very wisely said. So, simply put before you, this one's in, he's out. Put it to a vote, yes? The same figure with that hat and that from that kind of gilded throne stands up, says, "All for the transfer of Tormund the Liberator out as champion, revoking his divinative tether, and transferring to Father Cairo Servet, Don Marshal of the Brilliant Star Church." All for? Hands go up. All against? A numerous amount of hands go up. The vote is settled. 13-7. The championship of Tormund will be revoked, transferred. The continuation of the Exandris Finalis remains in effect. We will reconvene within several full moons to discuss the final declaration of our sisters. You're all adjourned. One by one. They all disappear. Asmodeus remains there, peers down at you, and begins to shrink down in size until he's just like a normal-sized dude next to you. And he kind of leans up a little bit on your shoulder. He says, "Hey, sorry, buddy. Just the way it works. It's my domain. I'm the god of deals. Somebody's got to do it. So, sorry it had to be me. Tough luck out there, bud." Punches you on the shoulder. "See ya." Disappears.
Did Bane leave?
Bane is still there.
What does he look like?
He is seated. He's not looking at anything. Like, it's like a big U shape, and his seat's kind of on the end, and he's just looking straight across, not at anything. One gauntleted hand on his chin, the other resting with the sword, like the size of a tower. And you can just see the resonating redness coming out of his eyes, and there's this feeling of malice just emanating like a heartbeat. Him and one other remain in the hall, or two others, Tiamat and the figure who steps down. "As Grand Architect Torog, I will transfer." And he places his hand over, and he moves his hand towards your chest, and you feel this come out of your chest, and this ball of golden radiant light comes out, and he says, "Father Cairo, if you will." The father steps up closer, and you're about 10 feet apart. A brief smile crosses his face, and he goes, "At your request, Grand Architect." And the ball of light enters him, and you see his eyes light up slightly, and he takes a deep breath. "Blessed be to the Pantheon, Liberator," and walks away, smiling. Torog stands up. "Our business here is done, Primus. You can take him back."
Before I go, I'd like to look at Bane, like try and get his eye.
Roll me a insight check.
Natural one. Can I use my inspiration.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Nice. I said inside 18.
The Primus says, "Let's go, Tormund." Starts to walk off with his dragon. You take a brief second to look over your shoulder, and you catch for a second the corner of just a red dot, like an ember in the night sky, looking at you, and then darts back, averting his gaze. And you feel a sense of anger wash over you, like intense, seething, raging, bloodthirsty anger. The kind of sense that you feel a lot when you're fighting, but multiplied to infinity. And you don't know for a second if it's directed at you or at the rest of the gods here. You get onto Varys and the Primus. Come on! Hooah! Takes you off through the city once again. You fly down. Eventually crest back into the city of Protenheim and the tower landing.
Sorry, I wanted to ask. Do I feel different having that thing taken out of me?
Roll me a religion or arcana.
Let's call it 18. Let's do religion.
It's pretty good. There is like an emptiness to you a little bit. Like just like a faint, like you know when you go outside and there's a really cold wind and you go inside a warm building and it takes a long time for that cold to go away, like unnaturally long, and you still like are like shivering. There's like a feeling like that inside you, but of emptiness. Like you're like, something should be filling this right here. And it feels like it should be heavier, but I feel really light. It's a very strange feeling, and you're interested at that moment to think if maybe Vinric felt the same way after. You land at the tower. Akuji and Gaius, it's been 4 or 5 hours. Tormund, when you left, it was like it feels like it's only been like an hour. Whether the two of you would still be at the tower at this time, it's up to you. Okay, you arrive at an empty tower. The Primus. Yeah.
Before he got back, I wanted to talk to Akuji. Akuji, that book that you have from Grun that kind of gave us that information, would you mind if I read that? Went through that over the course of a couple days?
I don't mind, but I'm going to be storing it in my auditorium. You're welcome to accompany me. I wanted to invite you there anyways. I have some things to discuss with you. But
Yeah,
yes, you're welcome.
Yep, that's fine with me. So I guess we'd probably go back to his place. Not
Okay.
waiting 5 hours.
We have no clue about, like,
No.
that Tormund's not... Okay.
Because unlike last time, you're not around anybody that it's getting transferred to, so you are unaware of what. But I say that it's not like you guys are oblivious. Like, what the hell's going on? You know, Tormund died in the fight and was brought back, and you know from the circumstances that Vinric told you kind of what might be happening, and that question comes up again, of like, maybe in the back of both your heads as you're walking towards the auditory, of they never told us that it could be taken or transferred or anything. So there's a lot more rules about this that we aren't even aware of. And it almost feels like you're being talked down to like kids. Like when you're telling a little kid how a game works and you're like, it's very easy. All you have to do is make a wish and you become a champion. But there's really a lot more shit going on. And however you feel at that moment. You walk through the streets and eventually arrive at the central building in the middle of the 4 towers of the previous 4 head visors. Which brings up a note, Akuji, I'll bring up right now. Before all of this champion business, you guys were all in the discussion of electing a new not disciple, but apprentice, and seeing who had the potential to become another head visor to take up Grun's spot. But that's not for this right now. That's just to keep in your head. You arrive at the central auditory.
At this point, have we like leveled up? I guess at this point.
Yes, in this time,
Okay.
in game, the aspect of leveling up isn't like a real thing. For you specifically, it's more of a thing because you're like, I understand magic more in depth after fighting this new necromancy type thing. I understand magic is different. So that's the in-game explanation. But
okay. So I guess is immediately after that would have been when I take my level 8 spell. And knowing what it is, my character is really hyped up. So like the excited little kid in the candy store. Internally, of course. Yeah, and basically like I'm just gonna be going down to where like I change out my spells, and I'm just like inviting you guys with me.
Okay. Guidus, you see for the first time as Akuji waves his hand, runes sprawl out across a wall and it folds away like sheets of paper. It was real stone and wood and a brazier and like a wall, and it just turns into paper, molds away, and you see steps that lead down to an enormous vault-like library with walls that go up higher than the building should and goes lower than you could imagine. Filled with books, and they're moving across. Little wispy, ghostly figures are taking heaps of books and moving them. You see other apprentices there as well, actual humanoids, elves, and not tieflings, but orcs and dwarvish people and gnomes walking around doing schooling by the dozens down there. For the first time you see this. The true auditory.
Got a lot more going on down here than I thought you did.
Yes, it is a bit more complex than the walls show. Why I brought you here, and I'll just pull out the book and kind of like set it down or give it to you. Our companions, or previous companions, have proven to be not great at surviving. Where I think you and I may have a skill for surviving. I've learned a new spell, and I think because we are champions, we may greatly benefit from...
No, please don't.
And I think you would really like to disintegrate.
Not now, no.
Now, Akuji.
He pulls the lever.
What's going on?
Sorry.
I've learned this new spell, and I think us champions may benefit greatly from this. I'm gonna cast clone on myself.
It takes 1 hour to do,
So maybe as Guidus is reading or something.
but you begin it, and
Yeah.
there's like an immediate. Can you describe what this kind of looks like in this environment?
I think I would take my hand with the gauntlet and just like almost like just touch it in to my chest or my side or something. And as it's like happening, almost like another force of energy starts to like duplicate itself from me throughout the hour.
Okay. You grasp on, and he literally just pulls out a chunk of flesh, and blood doesn't erupt from it. It like literally he just like it was like mud or clay, just pulled it out. You see a hole, and you can see like the organs beating and moving. And as he begins to incite this spell, you reach into the component satchel at this little central kiosk here, and you see him pull out a diamond that is enormous and cut. And as he does, scratches across it with the gauntlet and places it into the flesh pile. And as it does, flame erupts. The ritual begins.
What are you doing?
Just wait.
I don't know if I want to.
My clone is not here yet, right? Or is it?
No, you have an hour to talk about. It's now
Alright.
the ritual is beginning, so
Okay.
you have an hour to.
I would somewhat explain, like, by the end of this hour, there will be two of me. The reason I brought you here is because I think we should do this with you as well. I have no reason to go so far out of my way to help you, but I think we need to survive. And this is a way to better do that.
So that's making another you.
Yeah.
Will they know everything you know? I mean, do everything you do?
I would recommend you hide your clone in a very safe place where it cannot be disturbed. For if your clone is tampered with, you cannot take on its life form when you die.
Wait. What do you mean?
This spell here, as my face lights up with the most excitement I've ever had. Consider this spell a second chance. I make clone. I put clone in a safe place. Nobody messes with my clone. When I die, where does the soul go?
You got me.
It can be your clone. Of course you have the option, but I will not force you. But I assure you, you will not have another chance to do something like this. Take the day and wait on it.
Yeah, I think I'll do just that. Let me think about it. Kind of a dangerous game like me, I think.
As the final component to this final hour of casting, as your conversation comes to a head, Akuji, what containment, what item do you use to contain your clone in?
I didn't know I had to do that. All right, let me check.
It has to be big enough to hold your size, like a coffin, or it could be something grand. It could be something mundane. could be a
Oh.
bag.
I understand.
But to
Um,
finalize this conversation and spell, you take that flaming chunk of magic material and put it to incubate for the next 120 days.
I was gonna put it in my room, honestly, like it where I sleep.
Just in this bed.
Yeah, like kind of chilling.
Like,
I
what's
mean,
up,
just
bro? Going
honestly,
to bed.
just I would put it somewhere like where I can see it for now, but in reality, like I'm hiding it in the most like secret place that I know of.
All right, what container are you gonna? What kind of container are you gonna put it in?
Probably like if it can be a
It's got to be like 6 feet. It's got to be big enough to hold basically you, and it has to be worth at least 2,000 gold and have a lid.
they're not just a metal box I could shove this thing in.
If that's what you want it to be, is like a big metal box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want. Even a
Okay.
yeah, even a coffin that I
Okay.
Very-
How goth do you want it to be?
how goth?
Yeah.
Pretty goth, yeah.
All right. Straight up, he's like, the conversation, you
Iron
have
Maiden.
this amount of time to pick. He snaps his fingers, and flipping out from the wall is this enormous solid iron casket with like spikes poking out the side of it, wrapped in chains, with like crosses and shit across it. Crosses aren't a real thing, you know? So, and the metal goes in, snaps his fingers, the lid shuts, and the chains wrap around it. And it falls to the ground.
You magic users are very strange.
I assure you, I am only offering this as a way to help. I strongly recommend you take me up on this. I think at some point throughout this, I would have asked like my most trusted like apprentice or someone to keep an eye on that book and make sure it stays in the auditory.
Mm-hmm.
Just for historical purposes.
Okay.
Speaking of, do you want me to only read that here, or could I take it with me?
Leave it here.
Okay.
If you need to bring it somewhere, ask Amir to accompany you.
No, I don't think that's necessary. I will. I don't really know how much I'll even gain from this, but you just don't know. It may be helpful, maybe not.
I understand.
Okay. As you two separate and go about your time, Tormund, you land back at the tower, empty. The Primus steps off.
I feel like even an apology wouldn't have any effect. But I still offer it to you.
It is not your fault, Primus.
You know, Vinric spoke a lot about you for his time here. A lot of fond memories, and a lot of bad ones as well. But he always said that he hoped that his children would be brothers like you and him were. And it seems as if you two are a lot alike in more ways than you would believe. Strange. Fate has a weird way of weaving itself into our... As Primus, I have no other position for you here. As champion. But, as leader of the army, and missing a general. The offer stands. I understand, though. Whatever you decide.
That would be the leader of the entire city's army.
You'd be taking Venric's position, yeah.
Promise, unlike Venric, I don't have a family. I just have people that I want to protect. And I think, what better way for me to do that than to take up that position? I will take that burden so Venric can do what he needs to do.
Very well. I'll immediately sign you up for boot camp, and we can get training on office within the next months to get your promotion. Yes, see, Venric was already a captain, and so the paperwork and the onboarding was much easier to promote him. You have no military ranking at all. You have no train.
Whoever's the next guy in line, can I just beat him
Sorry,
up?
a lot of bureaucratic red tape. So yes, I'll get you enrolled. We'll probably start. It'll be at least a month and a half of training. We'll send you to officer school. We'll pay for it, room and board. You can sleep with the men in the barracks.
What have I done?
And then we'll get you enrolled in the college, and we can get you onboarded as quickly as possible.
I'm not doing college, but I would appreciate someone helping me learn to write.
Oh God! Well, they'll teach you. You'll learn at least a few orders at boot camp. We'll start first thing in the morning, say hour before dawn. I'll have them gather you at the camp. All right.
Let's say
this
noon.
is
Let's
going
say
to be
noon.
great. This is going to be very fun. He slaps you on the back. I'll get the paperwork started. Walks away. And now we get to our downtime. As our heroes now within Protenheim, I will go by, and within the 4 months you now have till our story picks back up, we'll go to break right here. Actually, well, I'll give you a little bit more, but we'll go by, and I'll say one by one each of you what you would like to do, anything you would like to talk to, discuss. We'll do roles. You can go. There's enough time to go and journey to places, especially with the Kuji's teleport. We got 4 months, so let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break right now.
We're about to meet a couple of new people, maybe.
Oh, you better
perhaps?
answer.
Oh, I will.
Edric's dead, actually. The promise just didn't want to tell us.
You want me to go kill him real quick?
Benric was heading down the stairs down to the
You
underground
somebody
city.
You know where he is?
I don't know.
Tell me.
He's got a little bit of an idea. I can't believe what a snake. He just jumped on that opportunity.
What? What'd you say? What'd you
Are
say?
you can you go take a break real quick, Richard?
No, I'm gonna see the bot either way. So.
Well, you need to. Damn it.
Yeah, he's right. I said, what a snake. You would jump on the opportunity.
It just makes sense.
No, it does.
You abandon your people. I gotta protect everybody now.
Benric's gone through it. Okay.
I'm just playing.
You give him a little bit of a.
No, it was definitely like from a place of I understand. But somebody's got to do this. I have less to lose.
No, that's sick.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good.
Yeah, I'm a very sad person.
Yeah, you're really playing into it. I like it.
Did you guys like that cheers I did?
That was really good. Did you just come up with that on the spot?
No, I've had that in my notes for months.
Oh, okay. I was like, that was
really
well
For
put together.
months, dude. I've had that forever. And I've been looking for a time where we could celebrate and like drink and get together. And that
Perfect,
was,
dude.
that was the
This is
moment.
the first time.
Yeah, we're really having it. It's like back to back to back to back. And I hate Colin. Oh.
Oh man.
So I got a promotion technically. Technically, I never went down.
Raise?
Tormund, you will have no time to do anything except like 1 to 2 big things because you accepted that promotion.
You're gonna be doing push-ups and pull-ups.
Like you can't leave Protenheim. You can't. Like you will literally be at boot camp for 2 months, and
Training.
you will be at basic for 2 months.
the
And then
farthest-
after that, straight into officer training for the next 2 months.
OTS.
The farthest you're gonna get outside of Protenheim is just running laps around the walls.
Literally, I mean, it will be a lot of like literally that. This is Tormund's training arc. This is how you get to level 15.
I'm punching
One
cow
punch man.
carcasses. Do I get to level up technically because I'm training really hard?
No, I mean you already did.
Yeah, but again, because we leveled up before that technically. So.
I think you just did though.
But
What
like,
level
it
are
was-
we?
I
Are we
mean,
15 or 16?
I don't remember.
We're 15.
Okay.
Or, yeah, 15. Because I did mine last time.
What do you mean by that?
Am I going to have to wear a uniform? I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. Not doing
You
that.
have to. You
No.
have to.
I'm going to rip the
You
sleeves
can
off.
you can change it. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
adapt it to what you want after basic and after you finish officer. You can't. That you will be in a uniform, wearing armor,
Ugh.
wear all this shit.
Ugh.
Some friend, huh, Venric, coming in.
That's what he was saying. He was like, you snake, you would jump on that.
That's funny.
It's been it's been my whole ploy since the beginning. I was like,
You've been doing
champion
this-
school,
yeah.
but lieutenant general?
Yeah, I'm going
That
for
shit
his
sounds
spot.
dope.
He's probably got tenure.
I will say, no one, if you making this, no one's gotten to Lieutenant General that fast. That's
Congratulations.
the
That's great.
craziest.
What can I say?
Couple
It
months of
almost-
work.
Almost feels like a slap in the face, doesn't it, Venric?
he's just general. He's not lieutenant yet.
Okay.
He's just general, but it's still.
Either way, doesn't feel good, huh?
At the end of it, I'm like a completely different. What if I just change? Like,
Venric, it's been so long since I've seen
yeah.
you, brother.
You still can't read or write, though.
Look as ravishing as ever.
I've been going over these battle tactics, and I feel as if
I'm a changed man.
You should try and you still can't learn to
I get
read
an
or write,
accent.
but like you have somebody who comes with you at all times now who like reads you stuff, signs your name for you.
Like a
Generals
PR
do have
person,
assistants.
Yeah, he's always
a
with you.
manager.
Yeah. What's to say?
That's great. I didn't see that coming, but I don't know why I didn't see that coming. That makes sense. I'm the logical choice.
Yeah, he was definitely after it.
I wasn't. I swear. I think you were a good Lieutenant General, Benric.
there's just a lot we could change.
Yeah, like I think that like. I'm gonna stop there. I don't want to be an ass. Anyhow, yeah, have fun living underground or where the fuck you are.
You don't know that.
I
Don't know
I
that.
know. Living with the mole people. I don't know. That's what they call them up here.
I might go in his life though. We'll see.
You try. Apparently, he can't die.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. Maybe it's a waste of fucking time. He's just gonna get back up in a couple hours. And
Crazy. First time he died, lost champion. Second time he died, he gave up Lieutenant General.
he's
Third
like, you know
time?
what? Maybe he kills
Champion
himself.
again.
What else does he have? I'm just playing. This kid. I'm excited to see Venric's redemption arc or
You
whatever.
will
he does.
see Venric again.
We switch
He's coming
positions.
back.
I become the real suave looking dude, and you become the fucking street urchin. Like, just completely reverse.
So Venric's just taking a break, huh? That's what you're saying?
If you guys really truly want to know,
Hey, that's
My-
totally up to you.
my payment plan with Colin changed, and so I have to sit out
No.
4 games. So
Do you
We'll
need
see
some
him in
money,
June.
bro? Do you need some money? I'll help you if you want to
Yeah.
play.
Tax
Alright.
season, then the bachelor
Yeah.
party. I'm
Just-
wrecked. Like,
Just
I
send me like a
Dude.
Venmo request of whatever you need, and
We
We
I'll
could
uh,
send
start
it
a
to you tonight.
GoFundMe. We could start a GoFundMe.
He pitied me. He's like, you can still chill in here, but don't talk, please.
He's
So-
gonna server.
Please don't talk.
Server me, probably.
It's like $10 fine for every word.
That's steep.
Or maybe, hear me out, guys. Colin could lessen the prices.
Richard, shut up.
That's
He
heresy.
can hear you talk right now. Don't do that.
Everyone's just terrified of him.
He's
With
only
the
gonna
most-
make it worse if you complain.
Would the most evil thing I could do be like, after we end the game, to be like, I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore.
I need these
We have no DM.
We're
anymore.
switching it up.
I need this.
You just don't know. You don't know. Like, it just stops. The game freezes. It's no ending. Nothing.
He
Just
ghosts
yeah.
all of us.
You wouldn't
bored of
throw that
this
kind
shit.
of money away.
Worst cliffhanger.
We're supporting everything you have.
I don't know how I'd afford my other properties.
That's what I'm saying.
I knew it.
Doesn't
I
work.
knew you had
Doesn't
another.
work.
He's always gone for weeks at a time. Like, oh, I'm traveling because of work.
I'm about to close on a property in the Hamptons. So
One time, I swear to God, I
Probably
saw him at
can't talk
Walmart
about
and
it.
he ducked and ran.
he was buying the Walmart.
Yeah, it was just like a chase sequence between the aisles. Of,
Colin! Colin! You said you were in New Hampshire.
people aside. We'll give Shoop a couple more minutes, and then we'll start with Guidus, I believe.
Colin, did I tell you about that cheers
Me?
that I did? Did I tell you I had that plan a long time ago?
No.
No. I've had that in my notes for months, looking for a
That's
chance
very good.
to use it, and that was the first time I felt like I could use it.
That was very good. I was really surprised. That was really well done. Well written.
Alright, boys.
I'm not gonna lie, Reddit may have helped me there. I'm not gonna lie to you,
That's
But
okay.
It's fine.
but I
I
modified
still
it.
stuff all the time.
I modified it.
Half this story is a TV show called Foundation.
What?
So,
I knew
all
it.
right,
I knew
we'll
it.
jump back in, and we will go over the events that you guys would like to transpire, and we will begin with Guidus. Guidus, over this 4-month period, you recognize that Tormund has been promoted and has been in basic training with almost no contact with anybody for the time. Redulus does get brought over when the army kind of forms like a more secure line of travel between Capstone to help rebuild it and refill the numbers. And in that time, Redulus is brought back to be taken proper care of by the Lucid Lines infirmary. They're very kind of private about it for a time being. Then eventually they allow, if anybody would like to go and visit, but there's like a few weeks where like they're like, no, you can't come and see him. But Guidus, what would you like to do during this time?
I guess first I'd like to go see if anybody is here in Protonheim.
You check every day, daily. In the first 3 months, there's no sign of anybody. From your last conversation you had with Vinric, you feel like you know the fate of the two you sent down.
Mhm.
And you're waiting on the final member of your group, your syndicate, with no arrival.
Okay. One thing I'd like to do, I'd like to read that book. Learn whatever I can from that.
Okay. I would like you to roll me an investigation check.
Come on, dude. Okay. 27.
Very good. I would now like you to roll me an Arcana check.
I'll use my. I'll use my inspiration.
Okay.
Thank goodness I did. 18.
Okay, and finally, I need a history check.
Natural 20 for 23. Hex yeah.
This is over the span of several months of occasionally going in and reading from the book. Grun Alaros, Headvisor. This book specifically is a research notebook. There are a numerous amount of just like theories and ideas that he just scribbles with question marks. There's even more mathematic and arithmetic that has arrived here that you have a vague understanding of what he's going for, but he's basically writing proofs, magical proofs. There's no lore and stuff in here specifically, but what you're able to gather is Grun was heavily invested on well, to first understand Grun, you need to understand what the Etheretics were about. And the Etheretics were founded, you read this through his notes and other maybe conversations with Akuji and Amir, maybe Cecilia if you find her, the apprentices, that when Corellon gifted magic to mortals some decades ago, 3 decades ago, she gave it to a select number of people who she felt could weave the magic of the world in a way to help protect themselves more. And they only number in the hundreds, maybe. When that happened, wizards began to arise, and the first group that arose in Vasselheim was the Quorum, the Quantrivium Quorum, with Akuji and Ezra and several others leading this. And at some point, there was a break where the thought on how magic could be mastered differed. The Quorum thought that specialization was the key to unlocking the secrets of the world through evocation, divination, conjuration, all the specific schools of magic. The Etheretics believed that magic was an amorphous tool, and to contain it into various schools would be to limit the potential. So they thought to study all vestiges of magic at once, to learn as much as you can and not to tunnel vision on this. And none understood this more than Grun and Akuji, who were the founding kind of basically the reason the split happened. When Grun and Akuji arrived in Protenheim and established this college, Grun had a fascination on creation, and specifically the history of the world. Being only around 1600 years old, he wondered, and this is proof throughout the things of like, where does the religious scripture and the actual like physics of the world intersect? In scripture, the gods arrived, crafted the world that was just turmoil and chaos, and with roaming giants of titans around. And within the study and like how rivers are made and the oceans exist and trees and all, the stuff we know in our world of like oxygen and lightning and stuff. How does that all make sense with these gods coming and creating something? He began to try to question whether there was already a world that was livable here beforehand, and the gods either made an agreement or manipulated the world in a way that they could get what they want. And because of that, he deduced that this world already had magic before the gods arrived. Or that's at least his theory. He wasn't able to fully prove it. If magic already existed here, and in its pure form, ether, which is where the namesake of Etheretics comes from. If ether already existed, then the Titans must know about it. Or at least they must also have a connection to it. That was one study. Not deep into the elementals and what all that pertained to, but the fact that the elementals and the world of Foundation have a linking that is deeper than even the gods. He questioned if you were to remove the Titans completely, would the world exist anymore? Would the gods be able to hold it together? And with that thought, he began to wonder, well, we know stories of Titans that have fallen or been put to sleep, and there hasn't been catastrophic events. So there must be something grander holding the world together. And the study of magic led to that of the weave, the arcane net that holds together both the divinative magic of the gods, the natural magic of the Titans, and the newly formed arcane magic gifted to mortals. With this new form, he began to deduce throughout the history of this world that there must be center points in which this magic is heavily focused. And if the magic can coalesce to a point to hold a planet together, then there might be a possibility that other things out within the skyline are the same way. Stars far off beyond the sky, the moons themselves could be, and they could hold worlds to themselves. A lot of astronomy is written down. A lot. Reading the cycle of constellations in the sky, the timing of the sun, of the world of Foundation's rotation around, as well as the orbit of the moons. And he became very focused on the moons. He was convinced, and you find this is with both your investigation and your arcana, and your history. This is all with that. The moons, there is a physical force that keeps them to this world. But if the Moonweaver is a deity that has like a domain of them, then there must be a magical connection there as well. Because they wouldn't just, there's not just like a god of this mountain or a god of this boulder. There must be something grander to this. There must be a link, and this is like the important quote in the book. If the world of Foundation was created and formed and sculpted by the gods, then what is to say that the moons are not also the same? A deeper connection, an interlocking weave. Question mark, dot, 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 question mark, dot, dot, shit like that. That is all to say, TLDR. Grun started with like, how does this world get made? How does Foundation sit in the cosmos? But then decided that was all not as important as like why are the moons also a focus of this? Like how are the moons connected in this at all? Because why would one of the gods pick a domain like that if there wasn't something to gain from that? That's what you find.
Cool.
And I'll say that's pretty much the apex of his study. And for you as players, any more research into this on his study would, short of 3 natural 20s, I don't think you would get any more information out of it. Any other thing you would like to find out about that, you would have to figure out on your own. So you literally just spent months, like I'll say even 3 months, reading through this dude's like life work and deduced the major bullet points. And he was unable to come to answers until he expired.
Okay. One thing I would have mentioned to Akuji, if he happens to be going back to Vasselheim at any point, I would like to tag along if that would be fine.
Yes, I was actually planning on going there.
Okay.
Excellent. And then I would spend a little bit more time following that dwarf dude.
Okay.
Trying to figure that out.
Okay.
And then the only other big thing I was going to do is something I should have done game like 5 or 6. I want to go down below the city or try.
Okay. Go to Vasselheim with Ikuji. What was the second one?
Go to Vasselheim if you can. Follow the dwarf. Figure that.
Follow the dwarf.
Bit.
Okay. We'll do the Vasselheim one when we go to Ikuji. You begin skulking the city in your downtime looking for this individual. Easily enough, you find him. Rotating through bars, taverns, shopping supplies, in and out of the barracks where sometimes you see sprinting around the entirety of Protenheim's exterior. A drill sergeant and Tormund wearing full breastplate plate armor and a helmet, fully regaled in armor during basic training, running around. You see him. You find this individual. Roll me an investigation check.
24.
You find out through just sprawling around, asking questions, maybe disguising yourself, listening in on conversations. This is a low-ranking kind of soldier within the barracks, but he's not like a mate, like a actual fighter. He's like a reserve in a way. He kind of just deals with supplies and stuff. Low-ranking member of the Firmament Guard, a dwarven man named Dover Kaliakrak. I can send you that name.
Dover. I got that. I got the important part.
Okay. That's Jordan. Jordan, you got the name?
That's cheating.
Thanks, appreciate it.
What a name.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Excellent. Now we're talking. 29.
After finding the information about this individual, you follow them at night. One night, a few months into this downtime, and you find him taking a weird route through the city streets, up to the northern district, close to the auditorium, along this little ridged hillscape where the mountain kind of curls out. You find him go to a wall, take his hand, place it upon a place, slide it across, and you see the stone open. And as he steps inside, it slowly begins to. So you keep on his track for some time. You find him again, a few weeks. You find him going down the same path. And you catch him, waiting. As he places his hand on the stone, opens it. You rush in before the door can close. You are left in an eerie dark tunnel, which is only lit at the forest ends with faint bluish green tinted lights that aren't magical, but are these physical crystalline lanterns that alight here. skulking through the tunnels following. You begin to descend down, staying as far back as you can comfortably go without being lost, because there are numerous chutes. You count at least within a 30-minute journey, 9 to 10 different tunnel splits, whether they're in 3s or 4s or just a simple Y cut. It is a labyrinth of tunnels beneath the city, and they sprawl out for who knows how far. Following his tracks, you eventually get to a certain position where the stone and rough cut of the mountain turns into a metallic door frame with enormous stone carved doors. The figure stands there and says, "Mazak Korokin," and the doors open. You are about 200, 300 feet back, hidden in shadow, and the doors slowly begin to close. You see, it is a wide tunnel, maybe 20 feet tall, enormous doors. There are stalactites and mites around, little boulders of stone hidden along the sides of the walls with lanterns lit up on either side of the door frame. What would you like to do?
So it's looking like there's only just the one path, right? And then it's a password to get into a set of iron doors, more or less.
There's not just one path, but this is the path he took.
Right.
Just from following, there's like probably 50 paths tunnels you found that go off in different directions. But this is the one he took.
Okay. Do I know how to get out of here on my own from where I'm at right now?
Yes, I'd say with that you would remember the route you took.
Then I guess I would try and venture off down other pathways a little bit.
Okay.
Trying as best as I can to maybe not deviate like down too many different turns so I can know where to go back to, you know what I mean?
So you're exploring the other tunnel routes.
Yeah, just to see if I can find maybe it's either other doors or other entrances or something.
Roll me a d10.
8.
As you're journeying through, you go through a series of a couple other tunnels that you feel like you'll remember the path. With your passive investigation, you know immediately that the two that you journey through, you stop mere inches away from traps. Magical and physical ones. Drop out holes, rivets in the mountain with like chutes to expel like arrows, glyphs that you recognize could explode, freeze, turn somebody to ash, collapse the tunnel above them. You recognize that the tunnels that are built here are all meant to both contain people who find their way down here and protect the people that know the route. Roll me a survival check.
Uh, 17.
You find your way back out to like the main route you had gone on and go divert to another tunnel that you deduce is safe enough to go through until eventually you find another smaller door, metal framed, large carved door, same lantern, same kind of boulders and rocks posted up. Smaller though. Roll me a perception check.
$16.
It looks to be the same above, with weird runes scribed on the door. Not like magical ones, but a form of writing.
Just another door, though.
Yeah.
Does it have handles or anything on this side?
No. It is flush stone face.
I can cast Mage Hand. It's invisible. And I'll send it over to see if it can push on the door or do anything.
Okay. I'll say you're about what's the range of that?
30 feet.
Okay, so to be within 30 feet, as you get that close, you hear a shuffling of movement, and a voice shouts out, "Freeze! Don't move!" What do you do?
Is that from in front or behind me?
In front of the door, like near the door.
I mean, I won't say anything. I'll just stop, and I will slowly either backpedaling this a little bit and just seeing what happens, or
Do not take another step. You've already been caught. You're not going to find your way out of here. Come with us now.
again, door's not opening yet.
No, and you don't see any movement.
But that's where the voice is coming from.
Yeah, like straight ahead of you.
I will start backing up right from the way I came,
Okay.
and I'll just start backtracking towards a different tunnel.
Okay. A series of arrows come out, fly out. You narrowly dodge about 6 or 7 crossbow bolts as they. You hear somebody shout out in a language you probably don't understand.
Akura Kartisis or Kar.
And you fart. You fart.
Oh shit! My cover's blown.
You start to hear the tunnel ding, and you see dust and stones falling from the ceiling. You look behind you, you see the tunnel wall starts to like shrink and close, almost like it's slowly being pushed together. Are you trying to escape?
If I think I can get out of that way, yes.
Make me a deck save.
Uh, 19.
Narrowly, right before the tunnel wall collapses, you dart through the hole, poof, land on the other side. You hear the voices muffled now behind the stone wall of like shouts and curses. You sprint back through the tunnel system. Where are you going?
I will attempt to leave if I know the way out still.
Roll me a survival check.
Uh, 15.
Okay. You narrowly find the path that you need that leads you back to the general area that you know you remember the lantern, the crystal formation exactly, the rivets on the ground for where your boots were, and you just see a solid rock.
I had a feeling. I guess only options are I'll just keep moving around until I either find a way that I can enter or exit.
Okay. For 3 days, you are wandering this tunnel system, finding hundreds of booby-trapped tunnel entrances, even equal amount of door passages that you do know now appear to be guarded by some hidden figures. On occasional circumstances,
Oh,
being sneaky enough.
yeah. I just got a ability for that. Blind sense. I just got blind sense, by the way.
It's like 10 feet, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still 10 feet, but I have it, just so you know.
Okay, that helps but even to get within 10 feet would be too much. Once on the second day of meandering through the tunnel, dehydrated and weak, you find a door and see the slightest glimpse of movement as the door opens. a figure, almost like themselves stuck to the wall with glue. It's almost like the wall turns into a person. They come out. A form of camouflage that allows them to merge with the stone walls. You see a dwarven warrior, cladded in metallic armor, huge halberd, and gray axe as they shift what appears to be guards. On the third day of meandering through these tunnels, you now are gathering information that every doorway, every entrance to go and descend further is guarded by at least 2 to 3 of these hidden figures within the walls, all dwarvish. You eventually find a breeze of air that surges through the tunnels. And on the third day, you scrounge out no solid rock wall, but an open entrance out. And you find yourself on the side of a hill with groups of boulders, flowing fields of now harvested or currently harvested wheat, still with enormous walls formed out. You are now out in the farmlands, maybe 5 or 6 miles outside of Protenheim to the north. And from your journey down there, you understand that the tunnels, the geography, they extend maybe 10, 20 miles outside of the Protenheim's walls now. And they lead to multitudes of entrances outside of Protenheim, inside of Protenheim. The mountains, the hills, the oceanside cliffs. There's a network, a highway of tunnel systems that whatever is being hidden down there is hiding. And you understand in that moment probably why even like the stealthiest fuckers in the world probably got caught or are still wandering down there in the tunnel system. You eventually find your way back to Protenheim.
Probably let out a little chuckle when I finally get out and like first breath of fresh air, like almost impressed. You know what I mean? Feel like I could probably get anywhere.
Is that all you would like to do in this time?
Yeah, I will. I'll get another plan together. I'll come back.
If there's minor things in the future, you guys would like to be like, hey, I would like to go check with this person at some point. We can retcon some stuff. This isn't all that happens. It's just to progress the story. Akuji, what would you like to do in your downtime?
Just hang out.
All right, just bull.
I'll build a swimming pool. Yes, think I'm
Alright.
smoking. Nah. Okay. Basically, immediately after, I guess the day after, like Gaius and I would have had our conversation. I would have been waiting like the next day. I don't know if what you would have wanted to do there, Gaius.
For which part? Sorry.
As far as like, did you want to take the clone spell the day after? Like we had our interaction.
I probably would take you up on that offer, but I would put that body somewhere else, not at your place.
Do with it what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a chunk of your skin.
Like physically?
Well, I can get it too.
Or like all your teeth. Or like all your teeth.
All right, I would have done that with you as well.
Okay.
After that, I would have honestly, I would have spent like the next 10 days doing that, like just cloning myself and fucking burying them, hiding them. And part of that would include going to Vasselheim and fucking doing that as well, hiding bot clones there.
He's gonna become immortal at the end because he just has so many clones.
He's just stockpiling his future self for like
Is this
hundreds of
possible?
We
years.
do this for about 10
You know,
years,
and
so
I read it and it
Yes, you
said you
did.
can like make it younger too,
Like,
which is kind of
there-
crazy.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's
There is
crazy.
not a better timing of this though.
I've never heard of this spell.
It's the Nakuji
Because-
self army. He'll never die. He's like basically a
Okay,
necromancer.
this is the limiting factor, Akuji.
Yeah.
I'm down with this. It still costs 1,000 gold diamond and a 2,000 gold container.
Okay.
So the auditory has a lot of spell components. It is still wartime, so like a lot of the diamond mines out in Marquette and Dominus and Asura, not in high supply. I will say over the 4-month period, within the first couple months, okay, roll me a d4.
So unhinged.
Within the first month, this is just how many. This is like you're going to chapels and stuff and stealing diamonds from, or like, not stealing, but purchasing diamonds too.
Yeah.
You're able to get 2 more of your own clones ready.
Okay. All right.
So that's 3 total. Keep
Okay.
track of this shit because it might be
All
important.
right. Hold on. 3. All right.
He's literally just gonna build a whole army if you let him. That's crazy.
I'll go as hard as no. I was gonna stop at 10. Honestly,
Can the clones do anything,
just
Colin?
in.
Are they just like
Alive.
still?
If
they're
Clones
basically
work.
nothing.
clones
Wait.
work, that if he dies, he will just go into the clone's body,
It's just
and
a new
he's just
body.
good.
But,
Yeah, it's
but
just a
it
new
doesn't
body.
do anything on its own. There's no
No,
soul.
No, that's simulacrum. That's
Yeah.
a 9th level, I think.
Okay. I was like, holy
It's just
crap.
it's just a dead body. Till
It's
you die.
another It's a 1-up. He's got a 1-up mushroom,
Literally.
and he's got 3 of them. Okay, that's all you can find within Proton Time. That's max reserves. Do you continue to try to find more? Like,
No, if I was reaching the point of like, all right, this is ridiculous. Like,
because you
I
could
would've-
teleport to Vasselheim, and
oh yeah, I definitely would have like gotten.
you could
the resources
teleport to places and try
from
to allocate.
Vasselheim as well.
Okay, so this is going to be the roll for how much money that before Amir and Cecilia are like, whoa,
Okay.
what are all these diamonds being used for? Why are you missing
Alright,
chunks of your
alright.
flesh?
Okay.
The flesh doesn't grow back, by the
He's-
way.
He's got one
No,
hand.
no.
So Akuji is missing like
Like, I'm fucking
cubes
myself up. Yeah.
of meat from his.
Which
Okay,
is why I'm gonna.
Amir and Cecilia are like, listen, bro, I don't know what you're doing, but we have you. We're gonna have to allowance this now. You have an allowance. You only have enough money for 4 more diamonds, and you're done. No more spell components. No more switching spells out because you're maxing this shit out. It's getting a little crazy. You're missing like half your cheek.
No, I'm not. I didn't take any skin off my cheek.
He's looking real sickly because he's just taking so many chunks out.
He's like looks like a ghoul.
It's slowly
Like when you're
killing
walking
him.
through the streets, it sounds like wind blowing through a flute. Like it's just like. Whoa,
Oh, that's great.
whoa.
Akuji's death
And
whistle.
we're getting a little worried.
Uh,
So they give you funds
Okay.
for 4 more,
okay. Which
but you have to go and get them.
Okay. So where are we
Okay.
at? We got. As of now, I got 3 clones.
3.
Okay.
You spend the next few weeks
Yeah.
going and teleporting and commercing between different places, and you're able to acquire 4 more
Okay.
diamonds and coffins for 4 more clones. So you have a total of 7 clones, including the one you have for
For Colt. Or
For
Guidus,
Colt.
sorry.
guys.
I would have actually, I guess, saved enough to have 1. I wouldn't have spent all of it. So I would just have 6 clones.
Okay.
Like intentionally, I'm doing that, I guess.
Okay. Okay, so you have 6. You are going to have to, on your own, not here today, but decide where you are storing each of those, and then let me know.
All right, I will.
You're gonna have to take care of them. You're gonna have
Wish
to
me
feed
luck.
them.
I was
One's
worried
at
you
the
were gonna
bottom
say
of the
this.
ocean.
I was worried you might say that.
I don't know if you guys know this right now, but he is officially becoming the first Lich
Literally, yes. That's what I
Like
meant.
this-
Not a
like,
necromancer, a lich.
In a normal D&D campaign, he would be the big bad wizard you fight at the end, where it's like, you killed me, but I have 8 more clones buried in the sea.
It's like, oh, finally, and then he shows up after a year, and then it's all horrible again.
He's Voldemort right now. He and his 6 Horcruxes.
That is
Okay,
crazy.
All right, that's done. 8th level spells being done. Okay, awesome, love it, cool.
That's so good.
Okay.
I love that.
Beyond that, really my biggest to-do list was, I figured after I completed my cloning endeavor, I would have wanted to learn a different spell.
Okay.
Which I learned Illusory Dragon.
Is that another 8th level?
Yeah. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah, within the auditory, you can only change, like the back and forth ones we've discussed. You can only change up to level 5 spells.
Can I not learn it and like just have it?
No, because you can
prepared.
only learn new spells if somebody else has a copy or creation of that spell,
Okay. All right.
or when you level up.
That's cool. So we're sticking with clone. Okay.
Okay.
So beyond this, basically I'm turning into Akuji the businessman, and I'm spending, like, you're gonna see a level of focus. If you even see my character during this 4-month period, I'm the most focused I've ever been, and it's my mindset is this shit happened with Goran. I'm pretty upset about it, but I'm going to just basically I'm trading out spells, trying to almost make up for where we're missing Goran in terms of combat. I'm trying to kind of experiment with different spells throughout that and just hone in my skills more and more. Throughout this, my goal is as far as with like replacing Groon, I was already thinking in Akuji's mind about negotiating with Ezra and almost like using this time to convince him that basically like join what we got going. So
Ezra's been crashing at Cecilia's place for the agreement was for a month previously, but he's been kind of milking the lad. It's been like 2 or 3 months. He's getting a little grungy. He's like walking around in flip-flops with his robe open, and he's just like, "Hey, what's up?" You go and approach him in the parlor of Cecilia's tower, and he's like, "What can I do you for?"
Ezra, I've been thinking. I'd like you to come with me. I have some business endeavors to discuss with you.
All right. Do you have time to finish my my
No.
wine? All right. He gets himself ready. What are we doing? Where are you taking?
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna I guess we'll walk towards Gaius, wherever he may be, and
Okay.
like I'm trying to I'm gonna find Gaius throughout this conversation and then get to my first clone.
Okay.
That's another box that Gaius saw.
After gathering Gaius and then walking through with Ezra just pestering you, you eventually arrive at the first clone box.
And then basically like, are you ready, Gaius? To go?
To Vasselheim?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Can I teleport my clone? Because that's maybe an issue. I don't know. If not, I would have tried to make one
I
there.
assume his own
You
clone
can.
would be willing.
I would have.
Yeah, you can. It's not a creature yet. It's still
Okay.
incubating, but it's an object. So yeah.
Okay. So I'm carrying. I'm gonna teleport all of us to Vasselheim,
Okay.
and basically, Ezra has seen my auditory at this point. So yeah, I'm basically trying to convince him. I think you should. I think we should join forces. I understand we have differences in the past, but with everything going on, and I'm not sure the champion situation over here. I think we could use your help as one of our advisors, if you will. You see what I have going, and you see my work. I think you would be a great addition.
There's a long pause, shakes his head, rubs his beard.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. But it's been great in Protonheim. So I'm gonna stay here now, actually, and don't come back to the quorum. And I'm not gonna take that position because I still don't like you. Peace.
And he walks off.
Where's Taro?
Still in Proton.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then oh yeah, the other thing I was gonna do is send a team to Fort Capstone to like explore that cave more from the auditory.
Taro jumps on that.
Okay. And then I guess the question is, do I know any other wizards with teleport, or just nah?
Off the top of your head, no.
Okay, all right. Then I will just periodically, and I'll tell Taro this whenever I sent him, I'll just periodically be using the dream spell to kind of get updates.
Okay.
From him.
That's pretty cool, yeah. Sending him message through his dreams where he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you are sending a team. How big do you want it to be? This will affect your role in DC for like the research and stuff. And also, are you going to be a part of the research at Capstone? And is it specifically, I'm guessing, underground? The cavern? Okay.
Yeah. How many resources do I have as far as people?
As far as apprentices go, you have 28 apprentices that go to the school. And they kind of are studied under everybody, but you have probably like 4 or 5 that are like more like your guys, like your assistants.
I think I would send probably Amir.
Okay.
And
Amir will do it.
And then I will just leave one of my people, and then maybe the rest of my guys plus whoever he sort of manages, I guess.
Okay.
So about 9 or 10.
Okay. You're gonna roll me an investigation check and then an Arcana.
Okay. It'll be 19
for investigation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a 12.
So the investigation is your own team doing it. I'll give you advantage on this because Amir and Taro are going as well. So advantage on the Arcana.
On the second roll?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be a 28.
Over the time period, you asked Taro and Amir and a series of apprentices to go and investigate it. You spend some time there too. What you're all able to guess from this is there is such a magical reservoir here. It has manipulated the environment to where even the stones and quartz that grow organically become so enriched with magic that they are able to do various effects. Experiments with the crystals have concluded that certain facets in cutting allow spells and magic to be dispersed. Some allow them to be concentrated. Some allow them to be stored. Whether that is like just pure raw energy and like the fact that if you were concentrated enough, you could store a spell slot in it. As for what this is, even on that investigation and arcana, the only thing you're able to deduce is a link between Groon's research, all of your understanding of magic, and this place is that this appears to be a nexus point of magical ether in which it flows out and shapes the magical weave of the world. Something very funny happens too on one of your arrivals down there. You are walking through the enormous, now lit up cavern with ropes and scaffolding held up, tomes piled up in the corner with lanterns and torches. A full research, like a dig site, is going on here. A full pulley system has been created so that you can just lower and go up and down the 1,000-foot drop. And as you're walking down the cavern, you bump your foot onto a little cubic piece of stone. It lights up, and little eyes, and a little smiley mouth comes. Get off me!
Get me a cage.
Your little buddy's there.
I was smiled. Hi, buddy.
He holds out his hand.
Put my little finger out. So we can climb on it. You wanna come with me, buddy?
You scoop him up, put him on your shoulder, and he just sits there, his little legs kicking.
All right, let's go.
From the conversation, you heard Venric translating. For some reason, Venric is able to speak whatever language this creature speaks. None of your people understand the language at all. What they deduce, though, with this 28 Arcana, is that this is an elemental of some kind. But because it's existed in this environment for so long, they are no longer just of stone or fire or water like a normal elemental. They have been infused with the magical ether here, that they guess between Amir and Tara that this creature is an elemental of pure magic. And the strange structure of the tunnels above and down here, from more mining and digging out and research over the months, it is deduced that this was not the ending of something. Like when a meteor hits a planet and a crater's left. That's not what this is. It's almost like this place started from nothing and expanded out. This was the beginning of something. And for whatever that was, it would have been such a grand and magnificent beginning that it created a geyser of magical energy that exists to this day. And it happened before the gods even arrived here. It was ancient what happened here. From the star formations that come up too, because they've created an interface now. You touch with a simple wand and it ignites. It's a depiction of what they imagine to be the world of Foundation, the Moon Katha, and the Moon Ruidus. And for some reason, those small blinking lights that you discovered, they are not present anymore. And you don't understand why. But still, those silver gossamers are very faint now. Not those vibrant, almost like physical versions you saw all those months ago. But they're faint, wispy. They still exist. They're just not as physical. But for some reason, there is a depiction of these three planetoids.
Okay. I think I would just start to basically see if we can allocate our resources towards like weaponizing this in a degree or being able to use it. Like I with I guess the intention of like fighting this army.
Taro says, actually, Amir says, I would be happy to take on that if you don't mind. I have really not been doing much in my downtime, so I'll look to see if we can weaponize these crystals and these minerals and see what magical devious machinations we create.
Can I do like a insight check on him?
Yes, insight check, please.
It's gonna be, what is that? 14.
You get a scary feeling for a split second.
Okay.
Not of like you're like, oh, this dude's evil. You're like, oh shit, I just gave a crack addict an unlimited supply.
Okay.
Crack.
But it's not like a I don't trust you feeling.
There's a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay, I would leave that alone for now, and then just make a point to keep coming
Put
back.
that away. I'm gonna put that in the closet for now.
I might even cast a couple like dream spells on him to without him knowing.
Okay.
To like and I'll even put him basically in the middle of his research and try to trick him, I think.
Okay.
Basically, so he thinks it's just another day working, so I can get a true insight to like what he's thinking.
Okay.
Or what's going on.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, I guess just whatever Guidus wants to do in Vasselheim on that one day.
Guidus?
You can go do everybody else. This isn't too important. You want?
Okay. Tormund. Between your basics and your officer training, you have very small amounts of time, but anything you would like to do?
I only want to do like 2 things since I'll be busy. One, and I assume this be like right after he told me I could be the lieutenant general, is I want to announce to the Severed, just keep them in the loop, letting them know I'm going to be busy.
Okay.
But I'll be commanding both them and the city.
Okay.
And then, in the small amounts of time that I have while I'm not training, I'd like to continue learning to write.
Okay. Roll me an intelligence check.
Just once?
For now, yeah.
Okay. My intelligence +0. Let's go. I should have assumed that because I'm barbarian, but a 10.
Within the span of 4 months, you have learned to write up to 10 to 15 word sentences. And you know at least 4 or 5 7-letter words. You've learned how to write.
Me no dumb no more.
It got to be short. It got to be short.
Okay. And I think... So I wouldn't see any of the other champions?
Not really.
Or
You
any
may be
of the
running to
champions?
Guidus once.
Okay. Part of my like writing is kind of just like... It's trying to learn, but it's also like cries for help. So I'm trying to like get them to Guidus and Akuji. Get me the fuck out of here.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Come, they mean, don't like, shit like that.
The first few rough drafts, you guys are like, oh, Tormund's funny. Like, he's like a funny guy. Like, this is funny. And then they get a little bit more like, please, I really need help. I don't want to do this. And then maybe you just let him suffer in it.
This place is like a prison.
Yeah.
Like jail.
Last, anything else, Tormund?
No, that's pretty much it for me. Also, I would want them to let me know if they see Venric or hear anything about his whereabouts.
Couldn't
2
tell you.
months.
I don't know.
2 months after the fall of Capstone. 2 months of our heroes recuperating, learning, investigating, and expanding their resources. And 2 months, a ship across a sea, the Osmond Sea, separating Marquette, Asilra, and Guasar to the west. Cresting over crashing waves, they've been on this journey for some time now, for the last at least 30 to 40 days. A sea crew transporting items, a part of the Lucid line, but a small shipping vessel with 2 individuals on it that have been requesting transportation. Jordan and Nevin, what are your 2 characters doing during this time?
So I put my foot on the cart, right? Double front flip over the last guy. Turn around, slice his head clean off his shoulders. 12 bandits on the road, all dead. Not a drop of blood. What do you think about that, old man?
Well, see, that's funny because I swear the last time you told that story, it was 16 bandits. Now it's 12. I mean, last time I guess it was a little more impressive, but
You got a good memory. I wanted to play it down. 16 it is.
you know, I tell a lot of stories, and I kind of gotta wonder a little bit if you've actually done these things or not.
Trust me. Okay. Maybe it's 14, maybe it's 16. It still happened. Besides, I feel like your memory's kind of bad sometimes, old man.
Well, tell me this: what's your goal in all this, anyways?
Look, Marquette was cool, okay? I got a lot of stories from there. I'm sure I've told you a bunch already. But, I'm literally going where the wind takes the 2 of us.
The 2 of us.
That's right.
The wind's gonna take you off the side of the ship if you don't get to work. And a mop bucket gets thrown into the 2 of you. You're not on here for free. The ship carries on through the sea for another 2 months until it eventually crests and rings out a bell. Land ho! Protenheim ahead! It crests up to the docks. All right, you sorry sucked sons of bitches. Get the fuck off of our ship. You're here.
I'm gonna... Super excited to be on dry land again. I'm gonna run up to the edge of the... and do a gainer off the back onto the dock.
Holy shit.
Acrobatics check.
Yes, sir.
What's a gainer?
It's where you jump forward but do a backflip.
Oh, sick.
And that's gonna be a 25.
Boom! Perfect landing, and you land next to a bucket filled with a slop of dead fish. And as you land, your head knocks it over, and it spills out onto the deck. And you hear a couple of guys who just finished like loading it there. Fucking hell! Come on, man! The plank lands out, and the captain of the ship says,
Yeah, get like the captain, like our first hand said. Go ahead and get off here. We're done.
To you, Jordan.
I'm gonna kind of walk off, and like as like Nevin's character lands the gainer, like all that commotion, like as soon as he like barely looks at me, I'm gonna like chuck a bag towards him. And be like, well, if you're coming with, at least make yourself useful and you can carry this the rest of the way. But no more of that fancy shit. I don't want to draw too much attention.
You're looking for that-
What I'm here for.
You're looking for that tower over there. That's where the Primus is at. All right, see ya.
All right, man, and the ship begins to rally. That day, bright, sunny day in Protenheim. Tormund, fresh out of academy. Finally, decorated general. Wearing whatever he will describe to us in the next game. A champions discussion has been ordered by the prize. A few discussions have already been had between Gaidus and Akuji. And you have met the new individual part of this champion ring as two new individuals sit at this table today. The dark-skinned man, very familiar to you, Gaidus, of Father Cairo, who is the champion of Tiamat, sits there garbed in the religious high cleric garb of the Dawnfather. Described as before, and a new individual, a female elf woman. Dark brown skin, kind of same dark black hair, loose down the shoulders, who wears leather scrapped armor, looks kind of like an outdoorsy tomboy type, hazel eyes. The new hero of Zahir, or champion of Zahir. She, on her side, on each side, holds these they look like war picks, but thinner, and carved out of obsidian. She has tribal tattoos along her side. This is Gabriella Cazador. The Primus awaits there, sitting next to him, standing at attention, fully erect and perfect form, is Tormund the Liberator. General Tormund the Liberator. As a conversation is being held by the Primus.
All of you, there is something I would like to discuss. This is probably our first arrival. I would like to welcome Gabriela from Talahuaca in Dominus.
She just kind of spits.
Hello.
He says,
We welcome you to this... Sorry, I forgot my voice. We welcome you to this table. Something has been popping up in the reports from the citizens, and a reoccurring theme. You might recall a few months ago, we had to sort through some old paperwork that the First Hand had signed off on, as well as yourself, Gaidis. A citizen report that the stars had been vanishing, and that they were winking at him. He had won a staring contest. Well, now we have multiple reports from other continents. The stars are disappearing at night. Large spots in the sky, dark. We are worried that in this downtime, Zenith has been on the move, doing something we have no idea what of. And so, our very important mission for you all, and as that happens, the door busts open. Poof, as Jordan, your character, kicks in past a frantic cleric who's like, "No, please, sir, they're in a meeting. Can't." And Jordan, would you please describe your character?
So, kicking down the door, enters a rather old, elvish man wearing like dark gray, black armor, has silver hair, orange eyes, isn't super tall, maybe like 5'8", we'll call that average height, but is elvish, again, rather old. This elf, for an elf, pretty old, about 450 years, definitely has some wrinkles on his face, but there's also a paladin on his back carrying a shield, and then around like a belt loop on his hip is a whip. And he walks in and kind of just, pushes the little cleric person aside and kind of like scans the room really quickly and then locks eyes with the Primus.
You see the Primus as you're standing at attention there, Tormund, getting ready to like strike out. You see the Primus like, fuck. There's like a moment, shit. Sir, and he stands up and like at attention, like Tormund and the Primus are both like locked up. What do we do? The pleasure to have you here. He doesn't know what to do with his hands. He's like putting them behind his back.
Abaddon Vincent von Heinrichs. It's been quite a while, and seems like you've grown up quite a bit. I mean, great continence. Look at you.
As the cleric is sprawling out, another figure walks out from behind. Nevin, can you describe your character and what as they enter the room?
Marco kind of walks in with a little bit of zest, but he's actually surprised. This man of adventure, also average height, 5'8", wavy black hair to his shoulders. It looks like it's really well taken care of for the time. Tanned skin, bright smile, green eyes. He's wearing like really nice clothes. The only thing that you can tell is a little scuffed up would be his boots. And on his hip is a beautiful gleaming silver sword with a gem in the pommel. And he's actually stunned as he kind of like looks towards Jordan's character like, I was right to follow this guy.
Two strange individuals wander in. Their names unknown, their purpose unknown. The Primus standing at attention. Two new champions sitting at the table where there was once our original 5, now our new 5. We will pick up on what Redolus had done, what else had transpired in the world, who these two new characters are, what the two new champions' purpose is, and what the fuck is going on with the stars in the sky the next time in our Tales of Foundation.
Go.
That was a good session. Abaddon Vincent? Are you kidding me?
Jordan hit
What
with
do
the
you
full
mean?
name.
What's wrong with that?
You remember Vincent from our last campaign?
What are you talking about?
No idea what you're talking about.
Who's
The campaign's
that?
over.
Who could that be?
That better not
It's
be
like-
him. No wonder he fucked me up if it is.
Dude, that is pretty depressing to think about, huh? Him and now, who it could be, if that's him.
Yeah. That
The
was
guy
crazy.
you love to the piece of shit you hate.
Yeah.
Forgot to tell Celia her brother died, but
Oops.
Tobias!
Everybody, well, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Foundation. We'll catch you next week to see what the fuck is going on. Thanks for tuning in. End the stream.